Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. Today, Wednesday evening, we will be reading and discussing from the Gospel of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Panchama Veda. So, as usual, we will begin with the mantra, Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kobi Viridhitam Kalmashapaham Sravana Mangalam Sri Madatatam Bhubi Grinanti E Bhurida Janaha. Today, at the page number 701, the Master's birthday that devotees have gathered, they are celebrating, and whatever the food they offered Sri Ramakrishna in his the condition, the supreme condition, he couldn't taste that food, but they prepared, so he was eating. Now he's talking with the devotees, and he said a very important thing for householder devotees. The householders has various debts to the God, to the fathers, to the rishis. He also owes a debt to his wife. He should, like that, he should support her if she is a chaste woman. Now, friends, in our Sanatana Dharma, we saw that the whole human life they have made in 4 different sections, and again, according to the capacity, they have given the 4 asrama. So it's called Chatur Varna, Chatur Asrama. Chatur means 4. The 4 Varnas and 4 asramas. What are the Varnas? Varnas, they have capacity to work, to understand. So accordingly, the Varna, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Those who are very intelligent, very calm, those people, they are Brahmanas. In Bhagavad Gita, they have given a list. Bhagavan Sri Krishna has given a list. So these are the responsibilities, the works that the Brahmana should perform, should do. And also the Kshatriya and Vaishya and Shudras. So these 4, those who are Shudras, they are physically, they will help others. The Vaishyas economically help the society. And the Kshatriyas, they will protect the society and rule the country. And the Brahmanas, that is the head. That's why very wonderfully a lot of importance has been given in the Sanatana Dharma on these 4, the divisions, the 4 Varna. The Varna means color, as if 4 color. No, according to the capacity of the work. So that is 4. These Brahmanas, as if they came from the head, they form the head of the God. In the Purusha Shukta, there is a very famous stotra in the Veda. It's called from the head, the Brahmanas. Why head? Because they are a thoughtful people. They think, the Muni, Rishi, the Mananshila, they research constantly. Not that all people can do that. The aptitudes are also not there. So all these difficulties. So accordingly, some people are very, very perfect in that. So they will be constantly thinking and researching and taking out some the solutions to the problem, the Brahmana. So these are the 4 Varnas. Though now, afterwards, I don't know when, that it started, the thinking that it is from the family, from a Brahmana's father, the son will be Brahmana. It is not like that. The karma, according to the karma, the Bhagavan Sri Krishna also in Bhagavad Gita very clearly he mentioned chatur varnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasha. The vibhaga, the division I have made according to the guna, the capacity, the quality, and karma, the work that they can perform. So it is very clear. In Mahabharata it is there, in many other places, references. But society sometimes, when there is a turmoil, there is no one can practically lead the society. Some type of people, they come and they do all their own way. So this is the reason at present the Varna has become we can say the very bad in the Hindu body. But it is not. So this one. Second, it says the ashrama. And the ashrama means again a human, in the beginning he should learn. Then that is called brahmacharya, one-pointed, only learning. He is not going to any other matter. Now sometimes because some people for their own personal benefit they utilize the youth group, and youth means all the time fun-loving, they have a lot of energy and they go like that. But the leaders of the society should understand this is the period that they should learn. Otherwise, how they will be able to contribute to the society? So the brahmacharya is a very, very important period when they should learn. They should go to the teachers, they should read books, they should also contemplate. So like that only develop. Then different types of their capacity also. Not that all the time intellectual, there are many other things also they should, but they will be able to contribute something to the society. That is the period they should learn. Second, that knowledge, when they are joining the main force of the society, contributing to the society as an administrator, as a doctor, as an engineer, as a judge, different, and the whole human society, the pyramid of the human society is built in that way. And they will be able to contribute. They will be a really asset for the human society. That is the main goal. So second is Garhastha. And in Garhastha, in the householder's life, there's the main thing is to support the whole society, because they are not only contributing their knowledge, their capacity, their understanding, and leading the society to move, at the same time they are earning something back, and whatever their desires, they will be fulfilling that. That is the grihastha. And that time they are supporting the brahmacharis who are studying, they are supporting those who are sannyasi, they are supporting the whole human society also by and their own society by paying taxes. So many duties are there for the household. Then afterwards, when they are retired, that is another life. At the first two phases, preparation for this present, the worldly life. So last two phases, preparation for the spiritual life. So after retirement, they will try slowly to withdraw their mind. Now it's not the family, all this mind that was already they have given, now they start collecting. So Vanaprasthi, they will be living as maximum possible alone, withdrawing their mind, analyzing their life, and understanding what they learned at the time of the brahmacharya, that God is the only reality. So concentrate on God or the reality. So the one, the truth, that process will begin at the time of the Vanaprasthi. Then finally sannyasa, sammaknyasa sannyasa. So they will completely, from there, they will resign to only the spiritual life and nothing else. and completely give up their ego. Not me, but thou. That is the whole human life. The wonderfully, very excellently it was drawn by our ancestors, the rishis. Still there, but to some extent you have to amend it because of the different type of flows have come. But now Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who has come to re-establish the dharma, the righteousness, and the main branch of the society is the householders. And what the householders should do? They should do Panchama Yajna, which this Panchama Yajna, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning as the dates. And he has not mentioned all the 5. In our scriptures he says, the Panchama Yajna, what is that? The very first, according to the terminology used by Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, I should also say, Deva Rina. You are indebted to the God. We are all indebted to the God. And then Rishi Rina, the great scholars, the thinkers, they researched and they found the truth. They taught us those truths. So we should be grateful to them. Then Pitri Rina, because of the ancestors, our family, we are living, we are surviving. Because of them, we should be grateful to them. Nri Rina, Sri Ramakrishna has not mentioned here, and I am mentioning, quoting from the scripture. Nri, we are indebted to the other human beings too. The one who is standing over there and protecting me as a foolish man, that I should be grateful to him. He doesn't know me, I also don't know him personally, but his presence is protecting me, isn't it? And there are so many ways in the whole society. When we are going to the schools here, of course it is all private schools, we go and pay and learn, but still the government is also contributing a lot. And what is that government money? The tax money. Who are paying? Each and every one is paying for the tax. So when I am growing up, each and every one's contribution is there. The teacher will be there, the nurse will be, doctor, everyone is contributing. I should be grateful to them too. So I am indebted to them. So that is called Nri Rina and Bhuta Rina. The Bhuta means the other beings. All those beings should be there. We are now, the modern people, they are all aware about it. We have to protect the nature. Even the ant has its contribution to survive, for survival of this nature. The birds, then all they are contributing. The bees also contributing. And the animals, each and everything. So they are supporting us. So human being, and particularly those now in the second position, now they have learned, now they are earning, now they are youth, so that householders, they should contribute. How? So they are morning when you are getting up, they should remember the God. Not much, that is they call it yajna. Yajna means doing something for the betterment of myself and others. So what I am doing, just looking at the pictures of the gods and goddesses, and then maybe the burning the incense sticks, and just remembering and thanking them, praying to them, God, I am grateful that you have saved my life, please bless me. So like this a prayer. Those who have taken the initiations, they know how the Guru has taught them to pray, a little bit of that. That means we are remembering the gods and goddesses. So here it is not a capital G, it is a small g. So many divinities are there, gods and goddesses. We are remembering them, and also the Supreme God. And that is called Deva Rina. We are or the yajna we are performing. Then Rishi Rina. Rishi, they researched and they developed our scriptures. And in that scriptures, very nicely they have said, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, and slowly, slowly human mind is getting the training and we are becoming separated from all other beings. And human is almost so close to God. So that is because the human can the discriminate, they can understand. So that slowly, otherwise whole mind will go to the body. And in this physical body, what is there? All the animals and others, only two. How to survive, that much. So the food and fear. So if I get the food and I am afraid and so I protect myself, that's all. Whole life goes on that. But the human is not like that. They are slowly, they will be developing their mind, their thought process, and they will go and merge with the Creator itself. So that is the uniqueness in the human life. And so all the scriptures and the great souls, they are telling the human life is really precious. The Manushyanam, these Manushas, so only a few they are trying. And those who are, now we are listening or reading the gospel, how many? Very few. So even then, those few people, and also in different places and different type of scriptures they are studying. So what we should do, we should be grateful to the rishis. They have given us that. How? By studying the scripture. That's all. So in the morning and the evening we are remembering the gods, and by that way we are giving back to them our gratefulness. That is sufficient. And then is our Rishi Yajna, just by reading the scriptures. When you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, is a great scripture and very practical. So if it is possible to study the Bhagavad Gita as well, if you can understand, because it is in Sanskrit and there are so many varieties of explanations that makes an ordinary mind confused, so it is better to read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Here you will find all the scriptures, the summed up. And third is the Pitririna. We must remember our ancestors, those who have given me the life and the identity in the society. So we must remember those ancestors. How? So sometimes, as the traditional Hindu they do, they take a little water in the palm and they will be pouring that water. Not that you have to go to the river. Where the river, all the time you don't get the river, just little water and then pour it, thinking that I offer it this water and to you, O ancestors, whoever you can remember the names, maybe the grandfather, great-grandfather, just remember and thank them, that's all. And Nri Rina. Nri means the other human being. How we can help them? That I suggest, and previously I have seen in all the traditional Hindu family, they will be keeping at least 1 rupee or $1 maybe aside. Whatever they are going to spend for this day, from that only $1 they will keep, and maybe there's called the separate place they will keep it, accumulate it, maybe after 5 months or 6 months, every day $1, that means the $30, and $500, that will be good. You can give it to somebody else, to some and the organization, maybe some the people, those helping the elderly people, disabled people. We can spend that money for that. So I personally cannot go, physically cannot help, but monetarily. But the main thing is I am remembering you. All around me, those people who are there, who are constantly helping me, directly, indirectly, and my whole life because of you, so I also remember you. So gratefulness. So who is a human being? Who is having the gratefulness? And then Shraddha also. So here, then Bhutarina. And for them a little food. If we keep for the birds and for the animals, a little water, that is sufficient. The same thing. Sometimes, the traditional Hindu family, and in the villages particularly, they will go and pour little water for the trees. They will be watering the trees, plants, the flower, plants, and they will keep some water and hanging from the branches, so the birds can come and drink from there. Some special food for the birds, some food for the cows and all others. That way we are grateful. So what is the training? To become grateful, humble. The moment I think I am the youth particularly, and I am earning a lot of money, I am getting some respect in the society, I forget everything and ego becomes so big. I think because of me everything is going on. Completely wrong. And if the ego is pumped up, what will happen? I will suffer. I will suffer. That is the reason one must be careful. All this morality is only to help me. All this spiritualities, all this training only to help me. So this is the uniqueness. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is mentioning here that you are indebted to the society, to the God, to the rishis, to your ancestors, to your fellow being, and not only that all other beings also, whoever they are helping you to survive. So be grateful. So what is this? The gratefulness. Then comes Swadharma. That is my own responsibility that I have taken up. As a sannyasi, as a monk, there are only two things: dharma palan, dharma shiksha. Continuously practicing righteousness. I should not tell lies, I should not hurt others, like that, like the humbleness. So all those things we should practice, and those things we should teach to the people. High moral values. In one sentence we can say, the high moral values. One should practice, one should teach, that's all. So that is the reason the sanya. But what the grihis should do? The mainly responsible for the family. And that's why in those days, at the time of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the ladies were not allowed to go out to get education and forget about earning. So obviously Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning over here, the modern society, ladies may be wondering why the husband has to support me. I can earn, but that was the situation when he's talking about it. Is the 18th, 19th century. The Indian society, girls were not allowed to go for the education and forget about earning. So that is the reason the husbands were responsible to look after that lady. And suppose the social the coverages, social security, those concepts were not there. So it is the husband only should be responsible. Suppose I die, then what will happen to my wife? How she is going to survive? So to protect her, one should have to do something. Maybe they used to purchase gold and the jewelries, so that the lady afterwards can help herself for the survival. So these are the swadharma. I am married, I have to look after my wife and children. But Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, if there is a chaste wife, suppose she is not, then the husband has nothing to do with that lady. So that is okay. Now it is okay. So this is very clearly Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. And now here the Girish is telling what is the way for people like us, the householders. As Sri Ramakrishna mentioned, now here the Girish is telling what is the way For people like us, bhakti is the only essential thing. He is mentioning bhakti. Why bhakti? The devotion, because this is natural, this is normal. But if we talk about the knowledge, very few people can really practice that. Very, very few people that practicing the path of knowledge. Because the analysis is really very difficult. But if you simply have the faith, believe that God is there, now we have to go to God. How? By putting your mind and soul at the feet of God. That's all. So this is called devotion. God is there, I am here, God is protecting me, and I have to remember God. By that way, this is the devotion. I have to develop my love for God. So Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, many a times we will be discussing about the bhakti, and separately there is a book, Narada Bhakti Sutra, that is separately they are dealing with the bhakti, the devotion. So this is very natural instinct for every human being. We love. That love, if we go to give to God, that's called bhakti or devotion. Bhakti is the only essential thing. Bhakti has different aspects: Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. The Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning so clearly. Now the devotion is there, but there are also Sattvic devotion. What is the Sattva? The good qualities. They are humble, gentle, and never will be aggressive. So they will go on praying to God and wait patiently for the consideration of his prayer. The God may or may not, but they will be humbly go on doing that. This is Sattvic, good people, they will be praying. Then Rajashika, they will be showing up. I love God. So they will decorate the temple very wonderfully and all these things, and the beautiful dresses for the images of the gods or goddesses, and the golden jewelries for gods and goddesses. He himself will be decorating like that. It's all show up. I am a devotee. I am going to God. I am thinking of God. That's the Rajashika. Another is Tamashika. This Tamashika here, one who has the Sattvic bhakti is very modest and humble. But a man with Tamashika, Sri Ramakrishna is not talking about Rajashika. There is a in between. The Sattvic is extreme, one extreme, and Tamashika another extreme. The Tamashika bhakti is like highwayman in his attitude toward God. He is not having the patience. He will go to God and then they will say, what is this? Sri Ramakrishna says, he says, oh God, I am chanting your name. How can I be a sinner? So it is his demand. If you have the tremendous faith, then it is possible. Now the children, they come and they quarrel with the parents, the father and the mother. Why? Because they know we have demand on them. They are so close to me. They are my father, they are my mother. So I have every right to fight with them. They won't go to the neighbors, will they? No. They won't go to the friend's father and mother. No, they won't do that. So the basic thing, when a person is coming and fighting with the God, that means that person has already developed the complete faith in the existence of God. God is there. I can talk to God. And God has created me. I have every right to demand everything from that. Is Sri Ramakrishna appreciating that Sattva is always good and Tama is always bad. But when you are applying the tamasic attitude towards God in devotion, Sri Ramakrishna says that is good. How come I am taking your name and people say that I am a sinner? If I take the name of God, how can I be a sinner? Now, this is a wonderful thing. We should understand what is seen, thoughts of the worldly objects. The seen is nothing but the thoughts of the worldly objects, including me and mine. And when I think about God, this is purity. So when I am thinking about God, I am completely pure. So that is the reason Jesus once said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. That purity is always there within you. God has created the human being. So obviously, the moment we think of God, pray to God, then we are not going towards the worldly thing. And we are away from the worldly thing, we are pure. So that is called purity. And this Tamashika Bhakta, with his great faith, he goes to God and says, what is it? And there is a beautiful songs are also there. One Tantrika Bhakta, he is telling, at the time of my death, if I can die uttering the name of Durga, then how it is possible for you to not to come to me to save my soul? I challenge you. Dekha jabe go Shankari. In Bengali he said, Durga, Durga, Durga bole jodi mori, akhere amare, nataro kemone, dekha jabe go Shankari. Ultimately, at the time of my death, if I can remember the name of Durga, and I utter that in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna, the Lord himself is promising, is giving the word. So if at last moment you can think of God, you are free. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also, he has also mentioned these again and again, and he has given the example. If you wash an elephant and then lose it, and immediately elephant means they love the dust. They will go and play with the dust, again it will be dirty. But at the time when after the bathing and cleaning the animal, if you tie him, then it will be all right. So the same way, when you are going to die at that moment, if you can remember. Now we may calculate. So let us do whatever we like. Only at the time of death, I will put that iPhone and the name of God and I will remember God. No, it is not possible. The mind will never work at that time. The mrityu, the death is so much painful, fearful. The people forget everything. That's why the practice. All through the life we are practicing. Regularly if we are practicing. We only say 108 times a day. No, that is a minimum. One should go on increasing the number, and it is better if possible, because most of the people nowadays, they are working and the workload is too much. So obviously 10 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours they are working, and other responsibilities in the family. But even if it is possible, even for a day or two, if you go to a secluded place and say that right from the morning till I go to bed, I will complete 10,000 japa. The morning 1 hour I will do, then little walking, little refreshment. Again, I will read a little book, make my mind concentrate. Again, I will do the japa. Like that, if you can do, every 1 hour you can complete 3,000. So 4 hours if you can do the japa, so 12,000 will be easy. And if one can do 10,000 to 12,000, that means 4 hour japa, you can imagine whole mind will constantly, because in the early morning, then it is just in the before noon and afternoon, and before that before to bed. So that way 1 hour, half an hour, if you can complete that, it is wonderful. And the whole mind will constantly think of the God, God, God and God. And what will happen, as because your whole mind is on God, then you are pure. Ma Sharadamani Devi said, these are the wonderful teachings. We read so many scriptures, and this Vivek Chudamani, these, that we are reading, good. But the main teaching, it is lying with the simple words of Ma Sharada, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and Ma Sharadamani said, what is tapasya, Baba? My child, what is that tapasya? Somehow you have to keep the mind at the feet of God. Somehow. So that's why sometimes we are singing bhajan, and at the time of singing, we should not be aware how many people are listening to me, whether they are appreciating or not. No, never, never. Only when you are singing, you should try to remember the meaning of the words of the song. And when you remember those meanings, that gives a great impetus. And that is why the kirtan about the Krishna, Kali kirtan about the Kali, and different type of devotional songs, that helps us to concentrate our mind at the feet of God. So that is the way we have to. That's called sadhana. Sadhana or spiritual practices doesn't mean only practicing the fasting or walking barefoot. That's good. A little bit of the pressure on the body, that is good in the beginning. But slowly, slowly you have to understand the main thing is the mind. It is not the body. So whether barefoot I walk or with a shoe I walk, it doesn't matter at all. If the mind is at the feet of God, then it is. The people, they go for walk, and 1 hour they will be walking. At that time, instead of talking to others or thinking other things, if they go on repeating the name of God, 3,000, the God's name they can take, and afterwards they will, oh good, 3,000 name I could do. And that habit will purify the mind. So here it says that you have to purify the mind. That is, oh God, I am chanting your name. How can I be a sinner? Oh God, you are my own mother. You must reveal yourself to me. So that is the prayer. When we are praying, we are not praying to the king, unknown person. Why should we be afraid? It's our mother only. For Jesus, is a father. For Sri Ramakrishna, it is mother. For us, it is mother. And mother is so close to us. We can go and fight with the mother. So that is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. Girish smiling. It is you, sir, who teaches tamasic bhakti. Girish Ghosh, he understood it. Actually, Sri Ramakrishna is hinting. Another time, Shvatta is best. And among all the 3 qualities, Shatta always is good. Then the Raja and not the Tama. Because Tama means completely negative. But at the time of the attitude, approach to the God, bhakti, devotion is there, faith is there, love is there. Now the force should be tamasika. Why? Why not? You are my mother. I have every right. So that time I am not going to sit quietly. Oh mother, when you are free, can you please look at me? No, no, no. We have to. You should look at me first. I am your son. You must. So that is the claim. That is called tamashika. And Girish, smiling, reminding the master, it is you, sir, who teaches tamashika bhakti. Now Sri Ramakrishna immediately teaching the devotees how you will know that you are progressing in spiritual path. He is teaching in this next, he is telling, Sri Ramakrishna also smiling, there are certain signs of God vision. That means the God, that I am going to realize God. What are the signs? When a man sees God, he goes into Samadhi. I see God and I have seen these, I have seen that won't go. He goes into Samadhi. And what is Samadhi? He forgets his own body and mind. So that is very important. What is Samadhi? Merging with the object. What is that object? God. So when I am merging with the God, I don't remember that I have a separate personality, separate body, separate mind, separate identity. No, it is all God. So that is the way goes into Samadhi. There are 5 kinds of Samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, and you know that I gave a talk, why should we meditate? They are extensively, page after page, every verse we studied of the Yoga Sutra. There, the Samadhi Pada, that is the chapter in the different type of Samadhis, why we can't get the Samadhi, what are the hindrances, everything has been discussed. If you are interested, you can go to YouTube, it is there, why should we meditate? So here Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning the 5 types of Samadhi. What is that? First, he feels the Mahabayu, that is Kula Kundalini power. Kula Kundalini. Kundalini means in the roundup is sitting, and that is the main, that is the Kula. And Sri Ramakrishna is telling Mahabayu, that is the main power, the force, the air. That goes up through the spinal cord, and in both the sides of the spinal cord, the yogis they say there are 2 the strong nerves crossing all the time, and different places of the spinal cord, it goes down at the end of the spinal cord, and that is the main place where the latent power, as if sleeping, that is called Kula Kundalini. Sri Ramakrishna says Mahabayu. The Bayu means the air, very powerful air. And center of the spinal cord. Friends, I am not talking about medical thing, and medical science may not agree, but it is yogic, is a mystical. And it says the center of the spinal cord, there is a straight line goes up, there is a Sushumna. So both sides, when it goes like this, Ida and Pingala, and the central when it is coming, Susumna. This Susumna Nadi, that is the vein that is there, from with that it comes. How it comes? First it says, like a crawling up, like an ant, slowly is crawling up. One can feel as if it is coming up. When the ant is moving, sometimes stop, sometimes it will move, and like that it is slowly coming up, very slow. Second, he feels as if like a fish is swimming. That also goes up and goes down as the fish they swim. They sometimes at the one place, sometimes up, sometimes down, changing the course like that. It is slowly coming up. That is swimming in the water. Third, he feels it rise like a snake wriggling alone, and that wriggling, when it comes like a, that's why this is the third one. Mostly the yogis, they feel that the Mahabayu, the Pranavayu, and that is Kulakundalini, it is coming and like a snake wriggling all through and coming up. If you have noticed the Ramakrishna Mission symbol, the Swami Vivekananda himself had drawn it, and that the symbol as a whole, all round, there is a snake. That's the yoga, symbol of yoga. Lord Shiva is having in a garland, having that is a snake as the garland. The snake, why it is hanging? Because he is a great yogi. So this is the reason. So the snake is coming up. Fourth, he feels it's rise like a bird flying from one branch to the another. It is jumping. That is another type of feeling. And the fifth, he feels like the monkey making a long, big jump, and there are 7 stages are there. That from there, Muladhara, Shadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agga Chakra, Sahasrara. When the last one, the fifth one, the monkey is jumping from one to another. From Muladhara to like this, it goes very fast. So these are the 5 ways. The Mahavayu reaches the head with one jump, as it were, and Samadhi follows. When the Sri Ramakrishna is describing this, we can understand he was master. He was having all the experiences. Maybe the others, they get one type of experience, and that goes the whole life. And Sri Ramakrishna is the unique. His mind is so concentrated, so pure. He was not having any other thought but the God. So it became so easy for him to send that mind to the Sahasrara. Every moment he could do it. There are 2 other kinds of samadhi. First, Sthita Samadhi, when the aspirant totally loses outer consciousness. He remains in that state a long time. It may be many days, and that is called Sthita. Sthita means the leaving, Sthita Samadhi. And finally he says, second, Unmana Samadhi. There is a different type of terminologies and different type of experiences. Unmana Samadhi, it is the withdraw the mind suddenly from all sense objects and unite it with God. Suddenly, with those who have practiced it, wherever they are, maybe they are in a meeting, other people are talking, suddenly they will withdraw the mind and goes into that, and then again come back. So that is all practices. When the mind becomes pure, again repeating the no desire for the worldly objects, the mind is completely free. And when there is no desire, so obviously mind goes to God. And he says in this way, to aim, do you understand this? Now this is asking the Master Mahasaya, the recorder of this. Do you understand this? When we were reading, those who have practiced meditation, a little bit of experiences, and at least they have the book knowledge that yes, this is this, this is this, this is this, they can understand. When Sri Ramakrishna asking the Master Mahasaya, he is immediately taking the exam of his very close disciple, householder disciple, whether he has experienced this or not. Master Mahasaya, yes sir. Do you understand this? Yes sir. Very clear answer. Master Mahasaya was a householder. He was not a monastic. He had the family, wife, children. He used to work in a school, not only one, 3 schools. And by that way, so many. So as a householder, he had that swadharma, his own responsibility to look after his wife and children. So he used to work in a school, and whatever the salary, he used to spend for that. Then he felt that he had the responsibility to support the cause of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and he, as a guru, so Guru Pranami, one should give something to Guru for his cause. So that's why Master Mahasaya in those days, he used to work for another 2 schools. That was allowed in those days. Another 2 schools. Salaries were not much more. But look at the different work that he used to do. So much of time he used to spend. Why? To get some money. And that money, one portion, he used to give to the direct disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who was practicing meditation and to become the monastic. Another part he used to give to Ma Sharadamani Devi for her ashrama. So this is called householders' temperament. The householders, by this way becoming pure, he is not only earning and spending for himself or herself, he is also thinking about the holy people and giving it. Not that he is sharing, because in those days the salary was less. He is whatever one school completely is to give to his wife to maintain the family. But the other 2 in these 2 ways. That's why even though he was a householder, he could say immediately to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, not that intellectually he has understood, he had the experience, so he could say to Sri Ramakrishna, yes sir, Girish, can one realize God by sadhana? Sadhana means spiritual practices. Now this is a very tricky question, very good question. If God is an object and I know these are the things I should do and realize God, but God is not the object, He is the subject. We are that. That particular thing is over there, so I can go and can pick that up. Object lying in some place, so the time, space, causation, all those things are there, so I can achieve that, get that. The thing that I was not having, I am going, practicing something, some manner, some the practices, discipline, and I am getting that. The Girish is asking sadhana, taking the name of God, fasting, visiting holy places. So friends, in this regard I just like to remind you, so we published from Vivekananda Vedanta Society, Chicago, a very beautiful book. If you are interested, you can order for it. Not very costly, maybe hardly $10. So, the many ways to God. And there you will find the different religion. We have researched on that and then published, and the references are also there. So, where from the conception came, who is the founder, what are the practices, what is the goal, and at the end of the book we have given a complete the table and giving in one place all those things. This is the religion, the founder, the year of the foundation, and these are the practices. If you go through look at the practices, sadhana, austerity, spiritual practices, then you will find almost all the religions. Why almost all the religions are practicing the same thing. The Muslim, the Hindu, the Christian, the Buddhist, fasting is common. Visiting holy places, pilgrimage common. Then also the charity is common. Counting the name of God is common. So many things are common. And that is why whenever I talk to the other people, I say, if all the practices are the same, result must be the same. Whether you call that particular result in your own language, that is different. That's why our rishis, long before, they said, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. The truth is one, but the different people They termed it, called it, gave the different names, that's all. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also said, all are leading to the same goal, but sometimes some people they call that particular thing as God or Allah or Jehovah or Ishwar. So that the all paths are leading to the same goal. Many ways to God. Here also we find when the sadhana that we are discussing, talking, these are the sadhana. Now is a philosophical question. Can one realize God by sadhana? Let us listen to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's reply. People have realized God in various ways. Some through much austerity, worship and devotion. They have attained perfection through their own efforts. Perfection through their own efforts. Some are born perfect. As for example, Narada and Shukadeva, they are called Nitya Siddhya, eternally perfect. There are also those who have attained perfection all of a sudden. It is like a man's unexpectedly coming into a great fortune. Again, there are instances of people realizing God in a dream and by a divine grace. Saying this, Sri Ramakrishna sang, intoxicated with divine fervor. Can everyone have the vision of Shama? Is Kali treasure for everyone? Oh, what a pity, my foolish mind will not see what is true. So Sri Ramakrishna is not giving direct reply to Girish Chandra Ghosh. Maybe that the Girish and the others, they won't understand the subtlety of that. So he is telling, but what is the truth? What the philosophers they say, what Sri Ramakrishna hinted over here, that actually we purify our mind. When we are purifying our mind, Manashuddha Karana, as the Vivek Chudamani, it is a great stress has been given by Shankaracharya, Manashuddha Karana. That means purifying the mind. And what is this purifying? This process. I won't eat, controlling the senses. I will go and to a holy place only. By this way, physically and mentally, they are constantly becoming alert and not allowing the nature to drag their mind. That is called sadhana. By that way, they become pure. How? Again, we are all the time reminding, they are going away from the thought of the world. And when the thought of the world goes away, there is no question of ego. Because from the ego only, all these things come. I want, I like to eat, I like to talk, I like to give. All this ego. When that ego goes away, the Sri Ramakrishna's word, many of you can remember, Ami mole ghuchibe janjal. When that I is dying, dead, then there is no problem, because they are in original, God is there. I am not going to get it, it is already there. I am only removing the dirts which you accumulated over there, just removing that. So can one realize God through sadhana? Of course. But philosophically, we are already God. How the sadhana can help us? By removing the dirts. Thank you, friends. I think if there is any question, we will answer. Try to answer.
The first question is from Akshay Bhatia. He is asking how to know what is God's will and act accordingly. How to know the difference between my will and God's will?
There's a great question, Akshay. that when your mind is completely free from ego, and whatever the thought will come, that is God's will. But as because we are not ready, I don't know, maybe you may be, or many people may be, but if we are not ready to completely disassociate the ego, then what we should do? We should pray to God. I am thinking to do like this, O God, if it is your will, you want, then let me be successful. If you don't want, then let me be failure in this effort. In this effort, I should not be successful. So that is God's will. By this way, we can apply. Thank you.
Chaya is asking, I have heard someone say Sri Ramakrishna is Lord Shiv. Does that mean someone can put bay leaves for Shivling and see Shivling as Sri Ramakrishna too?
Yes, Chaya, the Sri Ramakrishna is a Shiva himself. If you have read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, you must have noticed in the beginning itself, it is mentioned that his mother, Chandramani Devi, when she was standing before a Shiva temple, the Shiva temple is still there, it is named Jugi Shiva, that when she was standing, suddenly, she was not worshipping, she was just standing over there. Suddenly she saw waves of light is coming from that Shiva temple and entering into her person. She fell unconscious. Some of the other ladies, her friends who were also there, they got concerned and immediately they brought the water. And when she came back to senses, she told her friends, I think someone has entered into my body and I am carrying a child, a baby. So that is Shiva. Shiva came as her son. Sri Ramakrishna is Shiva. Thank you.
The next question is from Devashi. She is asking, how fasting is connected to spirituality? One who does not do fasting, can they realize God?
So of course they can realize God, but the fasting means, the controlling the senses. This is very strong feeling. Of course, Devashis, if for some reason, God forbid, you have some diseases which needs the constant, the food and all that, then don't try. Or otherwise, just to control your senses, particularly the tongue, the feeling that I must taste, you can say, no, today I am not going to eat. And the best food that you like, no, for 15 days I won't touch that. So by that way, only to have mastery over your mind. That is the fasting.
The next question is from Rohit. He's saying, what can we do for Chittashuddhi?
Oh, it's a very good the question, Rohit. The Chittashuddhi, as we said, that Shuddhata, Pavitrata, the purity is God. The more you think of God, the more your mind becomes pure. That is Chittashuddhi. Chitta means the mind, it becomes pure. So if you have taken initiation, go on taking the name of God that God, your Guru has given, or you can listen about different bhajans and read about the God. And somehow you must imagine that you are going to different holy places, offering flower and offering fruits to the God. By that way, always keep the mind at the feet of God as maximum time. If must be working, so you have other duties, perform those duties. And when you are free, that time, as maximum time possible, practice. Your mind will be purified. Thank you, friends. Now let us chant this mantra, Pranam mantra, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and utter Shanti 3 times and conclude. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhakta Bhaktanukampa Dhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namama. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.